All right, so that is the Stifling Dark.
That came down to the wire, though.
Yeah,
it did.
Very close.
But I think it was good because even though you had like that early screw up where we saw you and then you had to run away, it's very easy for you to turn the tide.
My big complaint with this is that the rule book is and they say the disclaimer at the top of the document is like, this is going to be 3 different booklets. It's not finished.
That makes sense.
So like,
rule books are the hardest
I can't complain
part.
about that much, but it is tough to learn it in its current state.
But I don't think the mechanics are really that hard. There's a lot of little details in some of the mechanics.
I don't know how complicated yours are.
The biggest struggle for me in learning it is things are not defined very well. There's a lot of like evidence cards, and I was like, what the hell's an evidence card?
Yeah.
Like, I have 12 different decks of cards here. What's the thing? So like, there's just a whole lot of stuff that is not like, there's these cards.
It says Sawmill.
It says Sawmill on the back, and there's a bunch of different kinds of them.
There might be, because this is the Sawmill map.
Exactly.
So there'll be
the reason that they did it that way, like
sense,
I think once they have a finished rule book, they'll have pictures to define things, which will help a lot.
Yeah.
They do have pictures in the rule book that exists. They're just not. There's just not enough of them for a lot of those definitions. So that was the toughest hurdle for me. I had it, I don't know why, but I had it in my head that those flashlights were not going to be used nearly as often as they were.
No, as soon as I realized
they are all over the place the whole game.
I thought it was like, I can only use this 4 times. I was like, oh no, it recharges if I don't use it? I'm going to use this all the time.
Right, yeah. So like, that was a tactical error on my part. I absolutely would have started in some other corner of the board instead of like 4 spaces away from you guys.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, the further you are away, the more time we have to come in and start doing stuff. So
I could have been up here or something.
Yeah, even just
somewhere
out of the original
tucked in a corner somewhere that you guys aren't going to immediately run to. Because I was thinking, I'm going to run in and go after whoever's there. That was really dumb. Gotta wait for them to disperse so that you can go get them. Because as soon as you're spotted, at least as the butcher, maybe it'll be different with different adversaries. But as soon as they see you, you can't do shit.
Yeah.
All you can do is run away and disappear.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I don't feel like the bosses probably should have much to do if they're spotted.
Yeah, because that's the whole mechanic is the flashlight.
I feel like, despite us not understanding everything right off the bat and that kind of stuff, I think this game does what you expect it to do. When you buy this game, you see it, you're like, I expect it to be like this. It's like that. Yeah. It's what you expect.
Yeah. I think it's definitely one that would necessitate multiple plays to really wrap your head around whether you like it or not. I'm not going to formulate an opinion on, do I like this game just based on the first play, because there's enough growing pains in it from that I'm like, I can't pass judgment on that. Like, I know that I need to play it at least once to learn it.
Yeah. I don't know. I got pretty good, opinions of it already, just from the mechanics and what we did.
Sure.
Play through.
Yeah. I would play it again.
Oh yeah, I'd play it again for sure.
Yeah. But at face value, the rend attack that the butcher has feels overpowered as shit. And if I had realized it, I would have won very quickly. But you guys didn't know that I had that ability either.
We didn't know what the hell you did.
The first time
that's something I should mention, actually. That's only one, when you set up as the butcher, you get to pick 1 attack card and 2 ability cards from a stack of, I think there's 3 different attack cards and 6 different ability cards.
Okay.
So you can shuffle, you can change it up, and that way, the people you're playing against, whether they've played it before or not,
they don't know what you
aren't going to know what you can do until you start doing stuff.
Gotcha.
So there are other things to explore here, even just in what they sent us, in addition to that, they're talking about additional maps, additional adversaries. There were 8 possible investigators to choose from, so there's a whole other set of investigators that we didn't see. And I'm sure there were a ton of rules that I just missed.
Yeah, there's a lot of little
There's some fiddliness to this game that I don't understand yet, which is why I'm saying I need to play it
It makes
a few more
sense.
times before I really.
I think it's just got a lot of modularity in like
It does.
the components and setup. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well it's this new thing. I don't know. Let's read what
Yeah.
that is.
And I think if all of these little tokens are better defined in the rule book,
Yeah.
it'll help. But I think it's definitely a solid concept.
Yeah.
It really does feel like Dead by Daylight, the board game, to me.
Yeah. It also feels a little bit like the Friday the 13th video game, which is like Dead by Daylight, but not as good. But because it's like, because in that game there's like a multiple path, like you start all spread out and there's multiple paths and you have to like, there's multiple ways to exit, but it's like you have to find the keys. Well, which cabin has the keys?
Right, yeah, there's multiple ways to
There's a couple of
escape.
different cars, and like you got to get gas for the car, but do you want the gas for the car
Or you could go get in the boat.
you know,
Yeah.
but the boat only seats one person.
Right, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit more like that than Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
There is an end game condition to start the gates, like open the gates or whatever, which that's just Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked it though. I thought it was a cool concept. I compare it to the Whitechapel game we played.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's got
Hidden
a very
movement,
similar,
yeah.
map like hidden movement. But I like where it takes the genre. I like the kind of more combat and actiony and more thematics
yeah.
to
Because
it.
normally hidden movement is us searching for someone, like in Whitechapel or the Dracula.
And this is you trying to
Dracula
get
game.
away
You're
from
trying to
someone,
find
yeah.
Dracula, and he's trying to get away.
Yep.
But this is different. This is someone stalking you.
Yeah. This is a much more active
Yeah.
game than Letters from Whitechapel.
I like it.
This could be fun if this were like. I mean, they could never get the license, but if you could be Predator or a Xenomorph or something
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
if you're like stock, like that's really interesting
That
too.
would be cool, too.
Or just like Killer. I'm sure there are other board games that do like secret killers stalking you, but I've not seen it like this.
This game is playable with 2 to 5 players. I question the 2-player.
But you would control multiple people. You would have to.
There's
I
definitely
guess,
there's
yeah.
changes
You're
to
gonna
the
control all
rules.
4 or something
Yeah.
like
There's
that.
definitely changes to the rules when you play with less people. This strikes me as a game that's going to be best with 5.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can see it working with 2 though. I mean, if you really love this game and you're both just like
Yeah, you
down
really
to
balanced
compete
it
over
out.
the evening, yeah.
And if you want to, because when I played Dead by Daylight as the killer, I'm never trying to win. I'm just trying to have fun. I always try and let one person go.
Right. The Stifling Dark, you can pick it up from Sophisticated Cerberus Games.
The darkness was stifling.
It was.
Their Kickstarter campaign has already concluded for this, but I do believe they have a late pledge option for you to go pick it up. And you can go check out their Kickstarter page and see what all the cool stuff they are adding to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check that out.
Yeah, I'm curious. Hey, thanks for hanging out. If you want to spend more time with us, do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, head on over to twitch.tv/bnbtabletop and give us a follow there. We play board games live every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a show we call The Board and Barrel. And we like to keep things interactive. You guys can influence what happens throughout the course of a game with our Buff and Nerf house rules. You can also make predictions on how things are going to pan out, play virtual bingo for a chance to win a free board game of your own, and heckle us and stuff from the chat. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you Sunday night.